Drake has officially released his new single for all the dogs called Slime You Out, featuring SZA, and this track was being greatly anticipated because it was the first time we were going to ever see them link up for a solo track. So guys, let me know in the comment section, how do you like the new single, and has this built up your anticipation for Drake's new album dropping next Friday? Baloo, I'm going to throw this at you, man. How do you enjoy the single?
It's really interesting, for Drake to put out more of an R&B cut as the lead single, something that's more slow tempo, not exactly what I maybe would have wanted for something that seems like maybe a return to a rap album for the first time since CLB. But listen, to be honest with you, I felt like it could have gone one of two ways. Either the standard R&B, Drake and SZA duet, or maybe SZA getting into a rap bag like she did on some songs off of SOS. But nonetheless, we ended up getting the R&B cut, and I'm happy with the product, bro.
I'm going to be
really
very honest
with
you.
the product.
To call a spade, looking at the single itself, we had this whole sort of like feeling, if I could say that this was going to be a return to form for Drake, going back to the old Drake. And this reminds me of the old Drake. I'm not going to lie to you.
Old Take Care R&B cuts, or even some like So Far Gone vibes, especially production-wise. It sounds super spacey, atmospheric, but minimalistic. And I love when Drake could sing over these more bare bones type of beats, because he's just be able to carry out the whole song. And I like also the higher pitch that he takes on that first verse.
That was really nice.
He's putting
as
an
well.
effort.
Absolutely. And you know what? Shout out to Benny X and 40, because as you said, the atmospheric production is just absolutely incredible from start to finish. It's a super dynamic production as well, because as you said, it's super minimal, but you could see that, from time change to time change, there's always like something new that's being implemented that subtly changes the track and the feeling of it. And I like the runtime that both artists had on the track. You get Drake that starts off the song kind of doing like sort of like a little monologue saying how like, well, I got to even choose out your utensils for you.
I got to micromanage you.
I got to micromanage you. And then SZA has like low-key the middle part of the song, and she comes in with this beautiful ballad. And then after that, she starts rapping just a bit. It's in the middle fine line of singing and rapping where she's kind of having this more fast-paced flow and performance, and I really enjoyed that. And then Drake on the last verse, I think, stole the show, and I think it's the best part of the song.
That's easily the best part of the song. I want to read out some bars, because even though it is more of an R&B cut, I like the fact that you do get some Drizzy rapping towards the end. And like you were saying earlier, it definitely gives you reminders of the flow he used on I Guess It's Fuck Me.
Yes.
I definitely hear that for sure. But listen to these bars. Dropped the QC, pretty sure I made PMs like it's past noon. Talking about the CEO of QC, which is P. I made PMs, PM, past noon. And then he raps, all I really know is W's and M's, life looking like a bathroom, women's and men's. All I really know is M bags, like I drove through in with a fast food. Talking about McDonald's. So just all those cool little wordplay tidbits that you can find within the song add value for me. And to be honest with you, at this point, it looks like we're going to get Slime You Out and Search and Rescue, probably both as singles on this album. And I definitely prefer this one over Search and Rescue.
Yeah, this was a really great effort to lead me into the album, and I'll tell you why. Looking at the Drake performance, because that's what I really wanted to concentrate on, was like, what was Drake going to come through with on this new single? You get great singing. You don't have corny lyrics. It's a great long performance. He's putting the effort in. The wordplay at the end is there. And it reminds me of the old Drake. So, I mean, even when I go through my checklist as a Drake fan, it knocks off every single box.
As I said, it wasn't a single that, maybe like screams energy and screams like this is the time to get ready for All the Dogs season. But it's still a great fucking song, and I like the fact that it's 5 minutes long. It feels like a grand entrance for this album, and I also feel like it could work as an intro for this project if you want to start off on maybe a bit of a slower note, which he doesn't do all that often, but that could be a good change of pace for the start of a Drake album.
And maybe this is kind of like a Joker in the deck, where he's kind of throwing you off with the first single, where maybe now you think it's going to be slower R&B tempo or that middle line between the rapping and the singing, but man, I have a feeling it's still going to be dark, man. I think it's going to be a scary album next Friday, and I like the choice as the next single, because I want to save that for the album experience. Save that for then. When I'm in that live album reaction next Friday, guys, I want to hear those type of meltdown-esque performances, something where I'm going to just be like, what is this guy doing on this verse? And to get into the new album now, what are your expectations? Has this sort of set the bar higher or lower? Where are you at with this new album?
It sort of kept my expectations where they were, in the sense that I feel like, again, you're going to get a big pool full of everything that Drake could do. All of his tools are going to be in the bag. You're going to have the R&B cuts. You're going to have the more hardcore rapping stuff. Like we know old Drake to be. Looking back at an album like Take Care, that's what you got for the most part. So it's going to be cool to see even what he does with Yeet and everything else. But I will say this. One criticism that I do have with the track is maybe the hook. I feel like the hook wasn't like the strongest aspect.
Sleepy.
Yeah, the whole Slime You Out. It was short and it just felt like it wasn't needed. Like maybe the song didn't even need a hook. You know what I mean?
I think the performances were so strong that maybe you're right. The hook wasn't even needed. But nonetheless, the whole thing of like slime you out like Nickelodeon, the whole thing with Holly Berry and like, your girl's being a child and I have to slam you out. Now, I get it. I understand it. Maybe it's going to be catchy for some people. But as Lou said, I do think maybe the performances outshine everything else, right?
But so how did your expectations change after hearing this? Or do they stay the same too?
They stay the same because I have a good feeling about the project. I'm going to be honest with you because going back to 2022, we had gotten Her Loss and Honestly Nevermind, and those were kind of out of the wheelhouse for Drake to a certain extent, where you get his first collaboration album since 2015. That was a great listen, and then Honestly Nevermind was him going into a completely different genre in which he never tapped into. So the last real Drake solo album that really has this format was CLB. Now, you guys know how I feel about CLB. I don't think it's his strongest effort. I think it's kind of at the bottom of his catalog. So I think this is going to be a return to form off of that. And maybe, just maybe, this might be able to be his best album since Views, if I'm being honest with you.
It could be. I mean, that's a bold fucking statement because you do have More Life and Scorpion and Dark Lane that all came after that, and those are tough to beat just because of how consistent a lot of those track lists are. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this sort of rolls out too.
And I want to say this as well. I feel like Drake has something to prove right now, especially after that Meltdown verse. I mean, just being super vicious, coming back to form and showing people that, stop fucking with my name, man. Like, I'm here. I'm still carrying this industry. I'm a top dog here, and I'm going to give you the best quality I possibly can.
And this is one of his better R&B cuts in years for me. They're just getting that classic Drizzy crooning over, like I said, a production that feels spacey, that feels patient, slow tempo. It gave me back that nostalgia, bro, and I'm super happy that he delivered this.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And I also want to, shout out Benny X, man. This guy has been on a tear. He is so versatile. He knows what to do with every single production he lays down. And just looking at what he could bring to the table as far as a new Drake sound, right? Like Drake tapping into a new sound with a new producer. I feel like the best guy in line for that is Benny X at the moment.
Listen, if you get Benny X on every single beat, I wouldn't be mad at this point. After hearing like just Search and Rescue in comparison to this sound-wise, he can go into a lot of places, even being able to hear like what he's done for Yeet over time. It's going to be cool to see how much of a role he has to play on this new album.
Because he has such like a futuristic but yet potent sound, and he's so, again, versatile in any pocket that he could get into, whether it's an R&B joint like this or stuff you'd find in Yeet's catalog. It's going to be interesting the way that everything's going to be forming out, and, as us covering Drake for the better part of like 3 years now, I have excitement for this. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a very exciting time to be a Drake fan.
Guys, we are dialed in with For All the Dogs. We are going to be doing a live album reaction to the album once it does drop on Friday, September 22nd. The link's going to be in the pinned comment if you guys do want to join the Patreon and get the bump new Drizzy with us for the first time ever. It's going to be super exciting, and make sure to stay tuned for more update videos as the rest of this week rolls on for the release. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.